Money's on the tab.
Steve Coogan argues that his talent and resulting public profile does not justify intrusive investigations into his private life.
I don't want to see an erection. Unless it's in the mirror, right, guys? Finished with the Daily Mail.
Arriving at the Leveson inquiry today, he revealed how he's been at the end of some extraordinary attempts to dig dirt. One involved a journalist from News of the World who phoned him about an affair and to offer him a deal.
If I confirmed certain aspects of the story, in return he would guarantee that the more lurid details would be left out of the story.
Yes.
So I confirmed the certain details for him, and he gave me his word that the more embarrassing part of the story, which I knew would upset my and my then wife's family, would be omitted. And after that, I received my manager received a phone call from Andy Coulson saying that they'd recorded the whole phone call and they were going to put everything in the newspaper.
Now, first of all,
Steve Coogan also argued that many celebrities are too scared of tabloid reprisals to speak up. He says the Daily Mail has been critical after his appearances on Newsnight.
All the Daily Mail are interested in, and all they do, it's commercial interest. It's selling newspapers, and everything is based on who's shagging who. It's not about trying to expose corruption.
Well, it's not all about that.
In fact, when I appeared on Newsnight, I mentioned Paul Dacre in a slightly less than flattering light, which is a very unwise thing to do. And the next day, the paper, there's a big story raking up all the old tabloid stories about myself and Hugh Grant. And it appeared to me he'd probably gone to his office and sent a memo around saying, if you want to throw any dirt at Steve Coogan and Hugh Grant, be my guest.
In recent days, witnesses have sought to cast the net wider, suggesting that unethical practices and phone hacking was not confined to News of the World. In the summer, Newsnight revealed allegations against the Mirror group of newspapers, allegations which were denied. And there have been whispers about the Sun and the Daily Mail, also denied. So how strong is the evidence of wrongdoing beyond News of the World? If you look at the career histories of some of those arrested so far, it appears logical that the police may yet ask questions of other newspapers. Neil Wallace, Ian Edmondson and James Witherup worked together at News of the World, but before this they were all at the Sunday People, owned by the Mirror Group. This may be an intuitive link, but it hardly amounts to a smoking gun. Footballer Gary Flitcroft on the left believes his messages were hacked by the Sunday People after two women had tried to sell kiss and tells.
I got a phone call off a lap dancer that I'd been seeing, and stated that she'd been offered £5,000, and if I wasn't going to pay her, she'd get it off the newspapers who'd been in seeing her. Now, there's no way the two girls knew each other, and so it's just a massive coincidence that Sunday People get two girls together. It just wouldn't happen. The only way they could have got it is from my phone records.
Do you have any firm evidence that your phone was hacked, or is that just speculation?
It's just speculation. I have no evidence at all. All I can say is that one of the girls lived in Stockport and one lived in Chester. They didn't know each other, so it just seems a massive coincidence that the same newspaper get two girls in the space of a couple of months to me.
Yesterday, Hugh Grant told the inquiry about his suspicions about a Mail on Sunday story about his alleged affair with a plummy-voiced woman in America. It was untrue, he said, but could have related to jokey phone messages traded with a plummy-voiced friend.
I cannot, for the life of me, think of any conceivable source for this story in the Mail on Sunday except those voice messages on my mobile telephone.
Well, you haven't alleged that before, have you, in the public domain?
No, but when I was preparing this statement and going through all my old trials and tribulations to the press, I looked at that one again. I thought, that is weird, and then the penny dropped.
I think the highest it can be put is, frankly, it's a piece of speculation on your part, isn't it, in relation to this?
Yeah.
The newspaper denied this yesterday, saying the Mail on Sunday utterly refutes Hugh Grant's claim that they got any story as a result of phone hacking. Then there was our exclusive story in the summer. when Heather Mills told us she'd been contacted by a senior journalist in the Mirror Group saying he'd heard a message left by Sir Paul McCartney.
He said, "Oh, I heard you've had a big argument with your boyfriend before I married him." And I said, "And why would you know this?" And he started quoting verbatim the messages from my machine.
Back then, the Mirror Group denied any knowledge of phone hacking, saying its journalists operate within the law. All in all, then, there's plenty of smoke but little fire on the question of whether other papers hacked phones. That they sometimes behaved unethically is far easier to prove.